video, we're going to talk about the loud versus diminished hard sounds. And let's study this together. It's going to be a short and sweet video. And the hard sounds without the extra disease, murmur, and clicks. So we have S1 and S2. S1 is when the AV valve closes. So AV valve is gonna be our tricuspid and our mitral valve. And the S2 is gonna be when the semillunar valve closes, and it's gonna be our aortic and pulmonic valve closing. Now, both sounds can be loud or diminished. So let's do this. S1 loud, S1 diminished. So I was told to study this sounds with like a door analogy. So what can happen in a door if you want to hear a loud sound? So the distance when you open the door should be wider, because if the door is only open here and you try to close versus here and you're trying to slam, if the distance is higher, then you hear a louder sound. So if the distance between the valves leaflet, tricuspid 3 leaflet, mitral valve 2. So if the distance between the leaflet is wide enough, then you can have that slamming sound. And also the mobility. Like if you look at the door, the hinges of the door, if they are not rusty, if they are rusty, the door will have that squishy sound to close. But if they are new and well made, fluidity with closing the door. So if you have your leaflet mobility also plays a role, and also the pressure, like if I just pet the door like this to close versus if I add a pressure to slam it. And this is the same thing if we have a pressure, the ventricular pressure. Remember, when the ventricular pressure exceeds the atrial pressure, that's when the AV valve closes. So with all that in mind, it's easier to kind of know when and how this valve works. So it's loud here during tachycardia. If we have a short PR interval, remember the normal PR is 0.12 to 0.2 seconds. And also if we have a mild mitral stenosis, mitral valve stenosis. So if you look at this tachycardia, the leaflet, the valve has to open most often because your heart rate is high, right? Your cardiac output will be high, so the blood is dumping all the time. And with a short PR, that means the electrical conduction gets to the ventricle right quick, right? The ventricle are quickly depolarized, so your AV close faster. And when you have a mild mitral stenosis, it's gonna be loud because it's still mild, and the mitral valve here during the closure, because it's already a little bit stenosis, is trying hard to slam those leaflets. So these are the cause of loud S1. Now, diminished S1 is gonna be the reversal. So if you have a severe mitral stenosis, a mitral valve regurgitation, if you have hypertension, if you have a prolonged PR. So during the severe mitral valve stenosis, because the leaflet don't even open first to be closed, so we have a short distance, and this is going to be diminished. During the mitral valve regurgitation, that valve never even closed because there's still a leak all the time, so the sound will be diminished. Now, during hypertension here, so during hypertension, your left ventricle is working hard because of the pressure, and we know that the pressure in the ventricle has to exceed the pressure in the atria, so this valve close. So if the pressure is already there to help the valve close, so you are not going to hear anything louder. And then prolonged PI is just the opposite of that short PI. It takes longer time for the electrical conductivity to get to the ventricle. Now, S2, same thing. We can have S2 is when the aortic and pulmonary valve close. We can have it loud, or we can have it diminish. No, now we can have it loud during here hypertension. Remember the door analogy? So in order for this valve to be closed, that means the pressure in the ventricle should be less than the pressure above those valves. Now, if we have hypertension, because that pressure in the ventricle is hard, the ventricle is working hard, it's a stiff ventricle, so you're going to have a loud sound because that pressure is overcoming. We need a low pressure for this valve to close, so you're going to have a loud sound. And here it's going to be diminished if you have those SL valve stenosis, because they never even open the distance. Remember the distance to slam the door? Their stenosis, they never even open to have that distance to slam. So this is where you have your diminished valve. I hope your diminished sound, sorry. I hope this was helpful. Don't forget to click the notification button and subscribe to my channel. I will see you on my next video. Let's keep learning together.